Hey guys, as y'all know, I'm back at Variant, and I just wanted to talk about the company and how they pay real quick. So basically, if you got 2 years, you get paid 60 cents a mile. If it's under 2 years, it's 56 cents a mile. As far as coming back here goes, I like the company when I worked here last time. I know how much I can make, and I know how the lanes are and how they run and how I ran the last time I was here, which I did pretty decent. Different people are going to run differently, and people think differently. So the way I think is, as long as I do my job on time, I set my PTAs, which is projected time availability, and I do the loads the way that I'm supposed to do them. Like, I get them there on time, I pick them up on time, I try to max my clocks out, I don't take too many extended breaks. I'm going to make decent money in here, and they're going to give me miles because I'm a hard worker. That's the way that I look at it. Last week was my first week back with them. They gave me 5 loads. I'm still on the 5th one. But even with almost 5 loads for the week total, like totally closed out all 5 loads, I ran 3,200 miles. So, you know, if the loads are between 400 to 700 miles, a lot of people are like, oh, that's short runs, I'm not dedicated, I'm OTR, right? I get it. It don't work for everybody. Sometimes you're there longer at shippers, sometimes you're there longer at receivers, and sometimes you're going to be off a little bit. But some people don't want to do that much work. I'm not going to lie. It was a busy week. 5 loads in a week, being OTR, yeah, it was kind of busy. But being busy isn't a bad thing. I like being busy, so it worked for me. But as far as, you know, the company goes, I like the company. So that's why I came back to Variant. As far as home time goes, you know, generally, for the most part, if you live on the West Coast, you know, they have you stay out 28 days and like home 4 or 5 or something like that. If you're like in the mid-states and the eastern side, out 2 weeks and home 2 days, or out 3 weeks and home 3 days. Basically, for each week you're out, you're home a day. That's technically the way that they try to gear it. If you stay out 30 days, it's 5, 28's 4, 3's 3, 2's 2. Don't really know know too many people that can go out for a week and then go home for a week. Generally speaking, the longer you stay out, the more money you can make. But you got to watch this with any company. I like to call it round robin. So they round robin you. Like, say the East Coast, for instance, right? And they give you a lot of short runs, 250, 300 miles, and they keep round robbing you. Just call them, tell them, like, hey, look, you got to make money, you got to run, you know? I haven't had that issue here at all. But I'm just saying, like, there's some drivers who said, oh, they keep me in the Northeast, or they keep me over here, or they keep me over here. Let them know, man. Like, call them, let them know. If I'm running you in a certain area, my own thoughts on this. If I'm running somebody and I'm running my business, and I put you in a certain area to run, and say it's 350 mile runs, 400 mile runs, 500 mile runs, and all you've been getting is like 2,000 miles a week, and you don't say anything about it, you know, if you don't message anybody about it, if you don't call anybody about it, whose fault is that? On my end, if I'm doing that, and I'm like, hey, well, apparently he likes running up there, and he's okay with the miles, then I'm going to keep running you up there because you're okay with it. You haven't said anything. Another thing is, you know, closed mouths don't get fed. Like, if there's issues or anything that comes up, just talk to them, communicate. I will tell you this. Last year was a little different. They have changed a few things where you have 2 fleet managers instead of like 10, which makes it way better. My dispatches, since I've been here so far, have been on point. Like, I've had one back to back to back to back. So it's gone pretty decent. I mean, whenever I left the last week that I worked here last year, I left like in April or something like that. But the last week that I worked here, I ran almost 2,800 miles. Those are paid miles. So as far as the pay goes, I mean, you can make decent money here. It's really up to the driver. I mean, you know, if you don't want to run later into the afternoon and you started at 9 o'clock and you want to shut down at 5, that's 400 miles roughly. So it's really up to you. I mean, you can run your clock out and get those miles, because remember, what you don't run today, you'll never get back. You won't never get those miles back that you could have ran today. There's 7 days in a week. Generally, if you run out your 70 and don't do recaps, you'll run your 70 out within 6 days. That's just the way that it is. Like, I ran Monday through Saturday. I worked half a day Saturday because my 70 ran out, because I did work quite a bit last week, but Monday through Saturday, and then today's my reset. So as far as me coming back to Variant and the reasons why, well, that's why. 1, I like the company. 2, I know kind of how everything works here. 3, I'm okay with the pay, right? If you go somewhere and you start complaining about the cents per mile, remember, you knew the cents per mile before you started there. It's in black and white when you start. Now, the miles, that's a different story. Sometimes dispatchers might dispatch certain miles to certain drivers. And the only reason why I'm going to say this is because if you have certain drivers that work their butts off and max their clocks out and they're reliable, they're never late and they're always on time, yeah, I'm going to give them some tight runs. And I'm gonna know that they're gonna be dependable and make that run. It's tight and it's long. Now, this is on my own thought process on it. If I got the worker, and we all know them, the lazy ones, I'm not calling anybody lazy, but you got lazy drivers and you got mid drivers and you got the above and beyond drivers. So you got the above and beyond that maxes out their clocks. You got the mid drivers that just do what it takes. And then you got the low drivers that just kind of, well, it is what it is. I'm going to run whatever miles I can today and then just relax for the rest of the day and then start later tomorrow. My appointment, I'm still going to make it for my appointment on time. But I'm not going to call them and see if I can deliver early because I don't really care. I'm not trying to max out my miles. I'm just going to go with it. I'm not going to call them, see if they can take the load early. I'm not going to show up early and see if they'll take it. I'm just going to do the bare minimum that I have to do in order to make this load. Me, I'm going to call them. I'm going to be like, hey, look, I got 6 hours. I can be there 6 hours early. I can be there, half a day early. Can you take me? Can I get in the delivery? Remember, it's your business, really. I mean, yeah, your name's not on the side of the trucks and you don't own anything, right? But we get to drive a truck for free. But it does require us to do a little bit of extra work if you want to be a professional at this job, right? You got to make phone calls. You got to call the fleet managers and be like, hey, look, I need longer runs. I've been getting 400 or 500 mile runs. I need at least 1,000 mile runs. Like I want to make some money. If you haven't been getting your miles and you haven't been happy, that's just my little tidbit on the company. But as far as like I say, I'll say this again. As far as Variant goes, to me, Variant's a good company. Like I said, it's not for everybody, and neither is every company out there. A lot of drivers, they work at 4 or 5, 6 different companies, or 7. So if you're working at a lot of jobs, which I have, I've worked at 3 or 4 different trucking companies. But if you're working for a bunch of different jobs, is it the company? This is where you got to look at it. Is it the company that's the issue, or is it the driver? Because you got a lot of companies that have the 10-year employees, the 15-year employees, the 20-year employees. Every company that I've been at has had them employees. So is it the company or is it the driver? A lot of times it's the driver. And it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with the driver. It just means that the company isn't right for the driver. Or maybe the company done some things or said some things, the fleet manager was rude, or you just didn't like the company because you didn't get the miles you was expecting, or you didn't get the pay that you was expecting, so you just said, mess with them, I'm going over here. Well, the next company, they wind up doing something sort of the same thing, and you're like, oh, that company lied to me, they told me they was going to get me home and they didn't. It is a trucking industry. If I say I'm going to get you home next week and something happens where I can't get you a load or whatever, you got to know these things. So like, if you try to be home on the weekend, and they don't get you home until Saturday instead of Friday, what you put on home time for, sometimes it's hard to schedule it just right to get you home on a Friday. Sometimes it's Saturday. But that's just a part of trucking. I mean, it is what it is. If you got appointments, on say Saturday or Friday, a doctor's appointment. Schedule your home time for Thursday. That way you know that, hey, look, I can't get home on Friday, so I'm going to schedule my home time for Thursday. So hopefully, if I don't get home by Thursday, I'll be home by Friday. That's just the way that you work it. Like I said, it's kind of like your own business in a certain sense. But anyways, if you like Variant, come on over. If you've heard good things about them and you want to try them out, just come on over, try them out for yourself. Me, I don't tend to try to listen to anybody. I mean, I'll get some honest opinions from people before I go to any company. But realistically, I try to view the company as far as what they say and how they work. So if I'm really interested in going into a company based off of their ad or whatever, 9 times out of 10 I'll reach out to some people, and you have good reviews and bad reviews on anything, I'm going to go test the company out for myself. But as far as the way I ran this week when I came back, I never heard from them. 5 loads, 3,200 miles in a week. Yes, that's at Variant Trucking, US Express. I mean, I can show y'all my tablet. It's 3,200 miles that I drove. My paid miles is right around 3,000 miles because they go off of Randy McNally miles. So it is what it is. It's black and white. So if you're interested in Variant, come on over. If you have any questions about Variant, comment down below and I'll answer them the best that I can. Oh, I forgot to also say, a lot of the guys that are coming through are getting new Kenworth trucks. That's 2023 models. Yeah, not everybody's going to get a new Kenworth. I got a new Kenworth, but they are giving out more new Kenworths, and they're getting new Freightliners in as we speak. It's hit or miss whether you get a brand new one or one of the 21s or 22s. But at the Dallas terminal, most of the trucks that were parked on the side, the Kenworths and the Freightliners, were new. So a lot of the people that are going through Dallas terminal are getting new trucks. Not saying everybody is, but there's a lot that are. I just want to let y'all know that.